You guys see how detrimental this verse is to the Muslim? You see how hard it is for them? One verse discombobulates the entire ummah. One verse has them malfunction, erupt in lies, confusion. You guys, with one verse, you guys really see how dumb this religion is. One verse. There's no escape from this. There's no way out. I don't got to do nothing else. One verse, 1094, destroys you all, destroys your religion. One verse. And with this one verse, 2,200 people on YouTube, 600 plus people on TikTok are all seeing, including the Muslims, how dumb Islam really is. And when I'm saying Islam, I'm not saying Muslims. I'm making a distinction, even though, even though it's hand in hand. But I'm talking what this religion does to people, what it does to the Muslims. Does it have feathers? Yes. Does it have a beak? Yes. Can it fly? Yes. Does it have wings? Yes. Does it lay eggs? Yes. Does it build a nest? Yes. Is it a bird? No, I disagree with that. I disagree that it's a bird. I disagree. Because there's a lot of animals in the animal kingdom. There are a lot of animals. We believe in all animals of Allah. We believe in all the animals. Allah is the creator of the one. Allah is one, the one creator of all the animals. So I don't agree that that is a bird. I disagree that it's a bird. My goodness.
Bible and authority of the Quran.
Because the Quran says that unless that if you doubt what the Quran says, you could check the Bible to make sure the Quran is telling the truth.
Well, what do you think it means by doubt, and like in what sense?
Doubt means that you are uncertain of the truthfulness of a thing. So if you are uncertain about the truthfulness of the Quran, then you go check the Bible.
Yeah, so the reason you go check the Bible is because Muhammad's prophesied in there, and it's to follow the good works from the Bible, good teachings. And so the reason it is because Muhammad's prophesied in the Torah and the Injil.
Okay, so if he's not prophesied in the Torah and the Injil, then the Quran is false, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So that means that the Bible is the authority on whether or not Muhammad is a true prophet, right?
Yeah, no. We said the Quran's the authority, the Muhammad over the previous scriptures.
How? If Muhammad is not mentioned in the Bible, then the Quran is false.
He is.
I know you believe he is. I'm just saying, if he's not, then he's a false prophet. So
no, because my book says he is prophesied in the
exactly. So what? So your book is dependent on my book to have your prophet mentioned in there, right?
Well, no, we can just go to our book in the Hadiths. Well, like, there's no point.
Yeah, but you can go to your book in the Hadith, but your books in the Hadith make the claim that Muhammad is in my book. So if he's not in my book, then your Quran and Hadith are lying, right?
No, that's not how it works. Yeah, well, no, actually, yeah, no. If he's not in there, yeah. And the Quran's false, sure.
So that means slow down. So that means that the Quran is dependent on the Bible, right?
No, that's not how it works.
Okay,
it's just a claim. If I make a claim,
yes, it has. Yes, it has feathers. Yes, it has feathers. Yes, it has a beak. Yes, it has wings. Yes, it can fly. Yes, it lays eggs. Yes, it builds a nest. But you disagree that it's a bird.
Yeah, anyway, so as a claim, like if I make a claim, does that mean it's dependent like on me in a sense?
If you make a claim that's based on something else, then you are dependent on that something else you referred to.
No, that's not true at all. Like if I say, oh, there's a.
Let me give you an example. I'm mentioned in the Quran. The Quran mentions a guy named Avery, aka God Logic, that will be going live on.
That's just a crazy hypothetical.
Well, no. Look, I'm making a claim. So, what determines if I'm telling the truth? Is it me, or is it the Quran that I referenced?
Yeah, no. Our Quran says that it is the authority over the previous scripture.
You're not answering my question, brother. What is the determining factor on if I'm right or not? Is it myself with my own claim, or is it the referent in which I said the claim is in?
Yeah, no, that hypothetical doesn't follow what you just said. It doesn't
saying no and saying it doesn't work is not an answer. That's not a response.
Yeah, no, that is an answer because it doesn't work. It's just gibberish.
Saying no, saying it's just gibberish, saying it doesn't work is not a response.
Okay.
So I need you to engage. What determines if I'm telling the truth? Is it my own claim, myself, or is it what the Quran says? Since I mentioned the Quran and said I'm mentioned in there, what determines if I'm telling the truth, myself or the Quran?
Yeah, okay, fine. The Quran, sure. But are you aware that the Quran?
So am I? Hold on. So because of that, am I dependent on the Quran for myself to be true?
No, you're not, because you're true in existence.
Hey, guy, you don't belong here.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't belong here. Have you guys ever seen this before in another religion? You might have. Islam might not be the only cancer that does this to your brain. It might not be the only one. Have y'all ever seen, like, this is weird, right? How do you bring up an analogy and then contradict your own analogy? Disagree with your own analogy? How do you do that? How is that possible? You don't belong here. Let's say I wrote a book about your life. My book is true. I'm writing about your life. You lived in California. You had a son, yada, yada, yada. Everything that I'm saying is true in your book. It's the earliest testament that I have of your life. A book comes later, and it comes telling falsehoods about your life, but it gets some things right. So a book can have some truth in it, but while at the same time being corrupted, right? Yeah, sure. What determines what is corrupted and what isn't in your analogy? That wasn't the point of my analogy. How do you know that this new book, this person, how do you know what's false in it and what isn't? What's the standard? But that's my analogy. That's not the point of the analogy. But I guess to answer your question, yeah, it would be my book. Yeah, the book I wrote will be the standard. So your book is the determining factor of truth. It's the standard of truth. I don't know. Something happened. Ken Thug, you on stage?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me in.
I could barely hear you, man. I could barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, are you like on Bluetooth or something?
No, I'm on Wi-Fi. I just got near to the router now.
Yeah, I can't. I can't understand you, bro. I don't know if you're connected to a Bluetooth audio or something, or if you're using some type of headphones. I don't know what it is, but you sound like you're underwater or something.
All right, because I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, so try to get that together, man. You're a Muslim, right?
No, brother. I just want to give you a breather because these Muslims.
Okay, brother. I cannot hear you at all. But if you're not, it sounded like you said that you wasn't a Muslim. But if you said you have something for, just message me, okay? Inbox me. This is for the Muslims only to join up and engage, okay? But go ahead and message me and let's talk.
Sounds good.
All right. God bless you, bro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right.
What's up, buddy?
Adam, welcome back.
You in a better mood today, man? You gonna stop running?
Hopefully today's the day I start running, man.
I just want to establish something real quick. So your claim is that because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is prophesied in the previous scriptures, that follows that they're the authority?
Yes.
And what draws you to that conclusion?
If Muhammad is not prophesied in the previous scriptures, is Muhammad a false prophet?
But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, how does that make it the authority?
I'm showing you. So if you answer this question, you'll see, hopefully.
Okay.
If Muhammad is not prophesied in the previous scriptures, he's a false prophet, right?
Okay, yeah.
How to kill all mosquitoes in the area in just minutes. This simple but brilliant trick you can do tonight to eliminate all mosquitoes around you.
So what is the determining factor if Muhammad is a true prophet? Is it the Quran itself or is it the Bible?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you're using the word authority, because a better word would be it verifies the Quran. Sure. Would you agree that the authority is the standard of what is true and what isn't? Not necessarily. Authority can just mean dominance or lead.
So if something goes against the authority, is it true or is it false?
It depends. Just because it's an authority doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't, bro. And that's
so you can have an authoritative leader that doesn't. So you can have an authority as in a leader.
We're talking about scriptures. We're talking about scriptures, not human being leaders. We're talking about an authority of what is true or not. I understand. What is the authority on what is true or not?
The scriptures.
What scriptures?
Depends on the time. If today, it's the Quran.
I got you. Let's go with today. So the Quran is the authority of what is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If something goes against the Quran, is it still false? Or I'm sorry, is it still true or is it false?
No, it's false.
Why?
Because God gave the final revelation to fix any corruption.
Because it goes against the authority of what is true, right?
The authority. Sure. Okay. For the sake of the argument, I'll agree. Okay.
All right. Whew, you had me worried, dude. Okay.
Man, I just don't see why you're using that word, but go ahead.
Well, so according to the Quran, it says Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible. If Muhammad is not mentioned in the Bible, then Muhammad is a false prophet. He's not a true prophet. Agreed?
Okay.
So the Bible determines whether or not Muhammad is a true or false prophet, right?
Sure.
So the Bible is the authority of truth.
No, because so for example, and let me say something real quick. Let me just give you an example. So if I wrote a story about your life, right? You were born in California, you had a son, you blah, blah, blah. And somebody comes and changes everything and leaves a couple things that are true, but the rest is wrong. Does that mean that something can't be verified that might be true, although the rest is incorrect?
What's the verifier?
Say it said you had a son and his name was James.
No, I know you got the story. What's the verifier? Is it your book?
Sure. Yeah, you could say that.
So your book is the authority over what I'm saying, right? Or over what somebody else says.
But you're missing the point. The point is that something can still be true, although the overall text is corrupted.
Yeah, they can have a truth in there, even though the text is corrupted, right? So, but what determines if their text is corrupted? What's the determining factor? What's the authority on whether or not their text is corrupted or not?
Well, you wouldn't know unless there was a new revelation, right?
No, you have Jesus. You said
What do
you look I'm using your analogy.
Okay.
In your own analogy, you said that you wrote a book about my life.
Mm-hmm.
You got all the facts about my life right in this book, right? You told the truth about my life. So your book is the standard on my biography, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else comes later after you, starts talking about my life, but starts contradicting what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if what he's saying is true in his book?
Well, you wouldn't, because all you would have is the previous earliest records of your life, right?
So what is the determining factor on whether or not the later record is true or not? In your own analogy.
Well, in this analogy, the point, you're missing the point of the analogy. The analogy was...
If you can answer that would be awesome.
I'll answer it. I'll answer it, but I still want to explain it. Okay, so obviously in this analogy, the book that I wrote would be the verifier.
Thank you.
But you're missing the whole point of the analogy.
No, this is what it is. So
your book, point of the analogy was to show you.
If this new book,
let me finish.
You answered my question. I asked it to build a point.
Okay,
this new book that is contradicting yours, you know that this new book is false because your book is the standard. That's how you know that this later book is false, because it's not in line with yours, right?
Not necessarily.
Bro.
You're missing the point, Avery. Listen to me. Let me talk. Let me explain to you.
Is it a mammal? Yes. Does it have a beak?
No.
Yes. Does it have feathers? Yes.
You can't.
Does it lay eggs? Yes. Can it fly? Yes. Does it have wings? Yes. Does it build a nest? Yes. Is it a bird? No, not necessarily. That's how y'all sound, bro.
No, you're not letting me explain to you.
Not letting you explain. You got one chance to clean this up, or I'm moving on. Because even with your own analogy, you're not even following your own analogy. You're contradicting yourself in your own analogy. And I don't have time to continuously deal with person after person after person that's going to be completely dishonest, play dumb, bring up analogies that they themselves will disagree with their own analogy. So I'm going to give you a chance. Go ahead and clear it up.
You're not speaking genuinely.
This is Islam,
You're not speaking genuinely using a logic. You're just trying to force your answer throughout this whole conversation. So my logic in the analogy was to show you that a book can have truth to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everything is true in the book. That was the whole purpose of the analogy.
Okay, what determines what determines what is true and what isn't true in that new book?
That's not the point. I didn't mention that. I didn't mention.
But I am. So according to your analogy, I'm using your analogy. So with your analogy, what determines, because you just assumed that book has some corruptions, it has a truth, and it has something false in it. When you say something's false, that means you have a standard of what is true. What is that standard according to your analogy?
You're creating the argument. You would have
to
give
you don't belong here. You don't belong here. You don't belong here. Take care of yourself. You don't belong here. You don't belong here. You don't belong here. You don't belong here.